Okay, first thing is the Lillebaby usually comes in a wide seat, where this is for like a bigger baby. I'm gonna guess that's around 5-6 months is when you start to transition. It's wherever this hits them at the hips, and we'll talk about that in a second. But for a little baby, first thing that you'll do is you'll unclip, take the lumbar support out, and then you'll unsnap this right here. It's a little loop, and you just pull this out. And you do this on both sides. So you're gonna pull this out here. There's a snap, you can unsnap it. You pull this out. So now we're gonna make the narrow seat, which is what you use for newborns to 3, 4, 5 months. And you're gonna take these two flaps here, and you're gonna kind of tuck them in together. And you'll see, oops, sorry, this way. You're gonna see where this little flap snap finds its little home. And voila, that makes the narrow seat, so that with their little legs and their hips are here instead of out here where the original were. So I'm gonna guess with a 3-month-old and newborn, this is definitely where you're gonna want to be. And then as they grow, you'll kind of be able to tell when their little legs and knees look like they're sinking down a little bit, is when you will just do the opposite of that, and you'll open this up and you'll thread it all through. I'm not gonna do that now, but you'll thread it all through the loops again. And the snaps here match up with here and make that a secure, wider seat. Also, you want the narrow seat if you're facing your baby out. So I'll show you that too. But even if it's a big baby, this is the newborn seat, the little narrow seat, and it's the facing out seat. And then if they're in on you or on your back, then you want it in the wider seat, because technically they shouldn't be on your back until they're about that older baby, good head control and bigger out anyway. So narrow seat is for newborns and little babies and any baby facing out. And then the wider seat is for bigger babies, in or out. Hi. Don't mind my pathetic little baby doll. This was mine when I was a baby, and she's just more like a legit baby size than the ones like my kids play with. So we're gonna put baby down on a bouncy seat or on the dresser. And we've already switched it to the narrow seat for a smaller baby. So the first thing you're gonna do is put around your waist, and you don't want this down around your hips. You want it around more of your proper waist. So I'm gonna make it as tight as I can be. I'm gonna adjust my lumbar support to be right there at the small of my back, and it's just nice and tight, like it's not going anywhere. The next thing I'm gonna do is make sure that this is my back clip, that the clip is all the way down at the end with the loop, so that when I reach back there by myself, I can more easily grab it. And I'll show you that when I do that. Okay, it's been a long time since I've used this one, so I'm gonna just loosen things up a little bit, and then I can adjust it when I get baby in. Okay, so then this is just ready to go. This is around my waist. This is at my lumbar area, and then I'm gonna grab baby, and I'm gonna hold baby to my chest, and I'm gonna hold their little butt. I'm gonna adjust their butt to be right at that seat here. And then as I just hold baby, it's okay. I just fold this up over them, and I can put an arm in here, switch around, put an arm in here. I can already tell this is way too loose, but I also have a baby that doesn't really weigh anything. But either way, even with it loose, like baby's in there. Baby's not going anywhere. So that's like, you don't have to worry about baby at this point. Get my hair out of the way. So then I can turn around, and I know that the strap is here, and I can just go and reach and clip that in really easily. I keep my hands here so I don't lose track. I'm gonna make sure I'm in frame. And my finger's gonna find this loop here and just pull. See that? So then I can go, okay, this all still feels really loose. So I'm gonna take the straps. Every single strap has those nice loops to hook into, but I can tell that this is loose. So I'm gonna pull down here, pull down here, pull up, and make sure it's nice and tight. Again, with a heavier baby, that's gonna be, there's gonna be more tension there, but this baby weighs 2 pounds. So I'm gonna make sure this is all tight as can be. And what I like to see is this being at a really nice backpack level. What I see a lot of moms is that they're just like hanging on for dear life on their shoulders here. And I want it like nice and secure and like square on my shoulders. So as you can see, again, not a lot of tension because if there's a baby, there'd be more weight here. But this is about as tight. I'd even want it a little tighter with the baby. So I'm gonna go as tight as I can back here. It's nice and like almost meaty here. And not, what I see is a lot of moms have them just like, it's like this. And so it just doesn't look secure to me. It looks like it's falling off, but I know that I can reach back here and you can slide this up and down. I can reach back here and yank it as far as I can. And then it's gonna be a nice square on my back, on my shoulders, not budging. So favorite things about the Lillebaby versus some of the other more popular carriers is that it has this part. And especially as baby gets taller and bigger, and they'll set a little lower. You can always adjust this down onto your hips a little bit more. But like some of the other popular ones that also cost way more money don't have this feature. And this is one of my favorites, especially if you're wearing a lot or on an airplane or you're bending over and like taking your shoes off for security, repacking, things like that. This is just, I think, one of the coolest things. So you can bring this up here, you can buckle it. It depends on like how little or how sleepy your baby is, but you can always leave one of the flaps. Remember to always have their head turned like that so they can breathe. So you can also just like, you can do both. And then you can even tighten these here and it just keeps baby's head super, super sturdy. So you can just like do all sorts of things and baby is not going anywhere. I've worn this at weddings. It keeps it nice and dark. And I've taken the little flap off because I didn't like it. I like using this for travel. This is where I keep my phone and wallet and things like that. Nice and secure. It's like a fanny pack. But yeah, this just keeps them super locked in there and totally breathable. I love this part. And I don't see a lot of carriers with this. It's just so nice and secure. So this is one of my favorite components. So you can always unbuckle and see baby in there. Okay, so let's talk about, this is a narrow seat here. And you can see that this would fit, if this were a real baby, this would fit baby really well because the seat hits right at their knees and they would be in that position that we want to see, which basically means that in whatever carrier they're in, the weight, like the primary weight, is on their butts. A lot of carriers, you can see them dangling from their crotches, or you can see them, like if it's too big, that means their weight is going to be like in their ankles or their calves. And so this makes sure that the weight, if they're up here like this and they're sitting like this, that means their weight is in their bums, which is exactly what you want. So this is still the size baby in the narrow seat, which fits newborns till they grow out of it for quite a while. So again, you can see that this is pretty high because I can reach it better by myself. If I had someone just to help me, sometimes it's a little more comfortable to scooch it down. And I'll show you what that means. So here's the thing. When I take baby out, I always take this off, and even while baby's on me, so that I don't forget for next time, I even back there, but I'll just make sure that that buckle goes back to the end, like in the beginning, so that when I put baby in, baby's crying or asleep, that's already ready for me the next time. So now baby's out, and I can put him down and take the carrier off. But first, let's talk about the back strap. When I say a track or a runner, this is what I mean. The back strap can scooch up and down, which comes in clutch for different size people, or when you're front carrying, this moves. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. This could move all the way down. This is the back. And it can move all the way up. So you can adjust that to what feels better to you and play around with it. But yeah, with different broader shoulder people, that's a really nice feature that you can move these up and down to get the best fit. Again, especially when I'm baby wearing by myself, so that I can reach it better. For me, higher is key. So if baby is old enough, this baby wouldn't necessarily be, not a whole lot of head control, but if baby's old enough, this would stay in the narrow seat. And this is how you could carry facing outward. Again, do you see how her hips are going crazy? Don't do as this plastic baby doll would do, but I'm just showing you what that would look like. Again, you want baby to be bigger, taller, have head control. But this is just what you would do to face forward, which I never loved, but a lot of babies prefer that so they can see out. I don't think parents give facing in enough chance, but this can do out, which is awesome. And you can adjust this to fit their legs better. But again, same thing, should be hitting them at their knees, and they can make sure you can reach in here and feel like they're sitting on their butts. You can just reach in and adjust. Again, this baby's too small for facing out, but same thing. You reach back here. I find the end, find the buckle. I can really easily then find the loop, get it really tight. Did you see it grab my hair? That wasn't nice. So again, this baby obviously is not very flexible, but we see it sitting square on my shoulders. This is nice and really pinched at the back, and there would be more tension, but there's baby facing out in the same narrow seat. Baby is older and I'm ready to switch this to the wider seat. So I'm gonna unsnap that. I've already taken the lumbar pad off just to adjust it, and you just stirring it back through all this way, and you feed it through with your fingers. And I'm gonna do this on the other side as well, but you're gonna just make sure this fits really nicely back to how it's supposed to be. It all will kind of line up, you see that? And then there's a snap here that'll match up and make sure that just stays put. And you're just gonna do that on the other side and then put the lumbar support back on. I'm gonna show you for future reference what a back carry could look like. So I go back and forth on whether or not I like that lumbar pad to stay on. If I'm traveling, I just keep it on because I don't want it to get lost. It's actually black because I've lost it before, but sometimes I like it because then it doesn't do this like rolling thing and it smooths it out a little bit, but it always feels a little bit funny. So again, I want this in the same spot around my waist, sitting on top of my hips. I have big hips, so there's more of a shelf there, but you can see it's like right at my belly button, which is right where you want it to hit, not at your hips. If it's at your hips, your back isn't gonna carry it, your front's not gonna carry it like how it's supposed to. So this is what a back carry, and you can do this by yourself too. Again, this baby's going to be way too small to actually show you what a proper fit will look like. I might grab my toddler to show that in her toddler carrier, what that fit would look like in a second. But this is actually how I get her in and how I got her in as a baby. And if you just practice at home, practice over your bed or some cushions. It looks scary, but I promise you it's not. I've never ever dropped a baby this way. This is how it's taught. I just kind of do the baby scooch. So this is, even as a tiny baby, what I would do, but if I'm by myself. And actually, I feel a lot of people offer to help me, and I feel more safe doing it this way than I do if someone's helping me, because I just know how it's supposed to feel. So again, with the carrier, practice, practice, practice at home in front of a mirror with these videos near your bed or something to just make you feel safer. But I promise you, once you get this down, this genuinely feels more safe to me than if someone's like helping hold the baby up on my back. This feels better to me, and I'd rather do it on me than even like put it on my husband. So I'm just gonna hold baby on my hip. And again, remember, this is a much bigger baby when they're going on your back. So it's not gonna feel as crazy as this is gonna look. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold baby on your hip. I've got baby very securely like here by their shoulder. I'm gonna come around, again, still real secure. I'm also bending so that gravity is on my side. And this all happens pretty quickly. I'm gonna take baby, I'm gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna do a little hop hop where they're on my back with baby, and then very quickly, I can get that secured with my straps, like so. And again, baby is a little too fake and light to really show you a good job here, but ideally, they're in a seat, and I would be doing this much more gently, but baby would be in there with bigger hips. So here's again where knowing that this scooches down is a lot nicer, because I don't want this at my neck. That's not gonna feel good to me for a few reasons, weight distribution wise, and see, this should be at the back, but weight distribution wise and just comfortability. So I'm gonna scooch it down more across like a chest clip, like a backpacking backpack. And then I can clip it in here and just tighten it. And then they're in there on my back, ready to go. Which when they're older, this is so much more comfortable because you just have them, you know, securely back there. And again, this isn't showing you what a good seat looks like because her fake little butt is not in there, but that's getting her in. Okay, and I'll show it. Back scooch again. Remember, it's all prepared. Everything's how I like it. And baby would be bigger, can hold their head up. They can even participate a little bit once they're going on your back. They're not itty bitty little babies, and they shouldn't be little babies that are riding on your back. So you've got them on your hip. You always use gravity to help. You're gonna always have a secure hand on them. You're gonna do a scooch here. Remember they're on your hip. This is also helping them. And you do it, boop. Keep them on your back. I still have a hand here holding them very securely, and get them on like they always have a hand making contact. Boom, they're in. And you sometimes, when it's a real baby, gotta do a little scooch to get their little butts down in there. But then you're literally in and ready to go. And I can do this so fast. I'll show you fast in a second. But then they're on there ready to go. You can cruise. You can get really fast and secure with it. So here, and this is how I get them out too. Same, like just in reverse. I'll show that, tell you fast. But again, you use gravity. You always have a hand on them. They're not going anywhere. So hip, I would do this, boom, hop, keep my hand, backpack. Again, their little legs will be longer, backpack. Now they're as secure in as they can. This is literally just to help with weight distribution, and they're back there. Doll's about to fall out, but a real baby would be in there. Okay, so then out, this would be clipped out, same thing. Bend over, have gravity help. Gravity's on there. I always have a hand on. Boom, boom, boom. You have baby. Easy peasy. And I promise you, the more you practice, easy peasy will ring true. I know that it sounds silly now and you're like, no way, I'm never doing that. But it's not like I learned how to do this immediately and felt really safe with it. I just went in with confidence. I wanted to be able to do it all myself, and I baby wore a lot. So it was really important to me and crucial for me to be able to do it by myself, and it didn't take me long. So a little bit of practice and some confidence, and I promise you'll get there too. You with a real live human. So this is actually my toddler sized one, which we've used from just about 2 years old. We still use it with her, and she's now 4 years old. We don't use it a ton, but traveling, hiking, we still have used it a lot. So this is my 4-year-old. So I'm going to show you. This is going to look a little daunting because she's so huge, but just what her seat should look like. And remember, seat means like what her bottom half looks like and what her butt looks like in it. So it's going to be the same process, just a little bit bigger baby. So same thing with her. I'm going to always have, even though she can help and she could climb on my back alone, I can show you what this looks like. I've always got hands on her. I'm going to use gravity, and then it can go boom. And that's what it would look like with a tiny baby. She's huge. So she's on my back, and because she's more solid, I can get her up in this. And I can show you if this like scooch down a little bit, but hey, Mary, can you, I want this out of the way. Hold on. Okay. So then I'm gonna do the chest clip, and she's in there. She's huge, but you can see even from here that her knees are higher than her hips, which is what you want. And you can see she's getting very big. And honestly, this is, I think, still adjusted for my husband. So I'm gonna pull down and adjust it. She's so big. But this goes pretty much, even though she's huge, knee to knee. And she's sitting down, you can even feel the weight in her butt. And she's sitting with an M, which means that, again, knees are higher than her but this isn't, yeah, this is loose. So she shouldn't really be leaning back as much as she is. And because she's so huge, it's getting, I'm like sweating trying to get it adjusted. So I'd probably do that more with her out of it, but I can, there's still these two, you can move it around, finagle it to make you fit the best you can. So now she's in there, and I literally, this is so comfortable. I can wear it for a good long hike still. She's a little wonky there. So she's in there, nice, secure. Again, she's big. It should really be at her knees. She's getting a little too big for this, but ideally it would be at her knees, holding her up, but it's still, you can feel that the weight distribution and her primary weight is in her butt, which is important for hip and for even blood flow. So you want to see her knees sitting nice and high.